Hi, and welcome back to part two of the stop motion animation tutorial series. So in part one, we filmed our stop motion animation, and I filmed just a few frames of a little demonstration footage. And then I uploaded it directly using the app to my Google Drive. So here it is in Google Drive, and it's pretty instantaneous. Depending on your Wi-Fi, that may change, but it's really good. So I'm going to come to the video here in my Google Drive, and I'm going to right mouse click on it, and I'm going to go ahead and choose download. If you do have a longer movie, it may ask you, it may say that it can or can't scan for viruses. It's probably not going to have any viruses since you made it, so you can go ahead and say download anyway. Okay, so now that I've got it, what we ideally want now is we have a video clip. And here it is here on my desktop, and I can go ahead and watch it, and there it is, a few seconds of the candy tin going across the screen. What I want to do now is I want to break it down into frames, so we kind of need to reverse it. And this is because when I tried to export just the frames themselves in the app, it exported it in a format that I've not really seen or used before, and it was called .export. And again, I thought it was supposed to be like a zip file, but I could not use it in any way. So again, if you have any tips on that out there, YouTubers, please put the ideas or solution in the comments below. So we're going to be using the free 3D app called Blender 3D, and you can go to blender.org to download it and follow along. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this default view here, and I'm going to come down here in the bottom left-hand corner of my window, and I'm going to click on the button here that is a little cube with the double arrows, and I'm going to change this window from a 3D view to a video sequence editor. And when you change it to a video sequence editor, this is basically Blender's version of a video editor like iMovie. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to choose Add, and then I'm going to choose Movie. And I'm going to go navigate to where my movie downloaded. So that's either going to be your desktop or it's going to be probably your downloads folder. So I'm going to go to my desktop, find my stop motion movie, and I'll go ahead and load it in there. So it's a really short movie. I'll scroll my mouse wheel to move in, or to zoom in, sorry. And then I can pan by holding down my mouse wheel. You can also put your mouse pointer here, and you can press the home button over the arrow keys, and you'll be able to see everything. But I'm going to zoom in with my scroll wheel just a little bit, panning every once in a while. Okay, so now I actually want to see the video as well. That would be nice. So down here at the bottom, you'll see these three little buttons right here, 1, 2, 3. And if you click on the third button, you'll see the video and the film strip down here. So I'm going to just go ahead and left click and drag this down so I see more of the video. And I can zoom into the video with my scroll wheel. And I can also pan so that I can see it. And now I can left click and I can drag through and I can actually watch the video, and this is what's called scrubbing the video. Okay, so now the technical. I can see that my movie only has 19 frames, which is a little sad. Your movie, I'm sure, will have more. So what you want to do is you want to come down here and where it says end frame, you want to click and type in whatever your end frame is. Okay, so now those match up. My timeline down here, you'll see in the lighter gray that shows my movie. And again, I can scrub through there and I can watch it left and right. Okay, so now I'm ready to render this as frames. So I'm going to come over here to the right-hand side. And I apologize for my zooming in kind of jittering like that. Okay, so you want to be on this first frame here. It's called the render panel. It's the camera. And we've got a couple things here that we want to check. First of all, the frame rate over here should be the frame rate that you exported from your app. And you can see here that Blender already knew what mine was. It knew that it was 8 frames per second. So if it doesn't, though, you can come down here and you can choose custom and you can type in whatever you decided to film at, whether it's 5 frames per second or 12 or whatever. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that my movie exports at the correct size. So you'll see that right here there's a section called resolution, and right now these two numbers here will give me 1080p, which is HD. And this little slider right here that says 50%, I can bump that up to 100, and now I'll get the full settings, and you can see my video got bigger there. Now your phone maybe didn't record at 1080p. So to find that out on a Mac, you would go find your video. Again, your video is either going to be on your desktop or your downloads folder. You would select your video and you can right mouse click and then you would choose Get Info. And when you choose Get Info, you're going to look for this category right here that says More Info. And down here it will tell you the dimensions of your movie. Okay, so whatever those two numbers are, you want to make sure that those get put in over here for the X and the Y axis. Mine are the same size, which is great, means I don't have to change anything, but I'm also filming on an iPhone 7 Plus. Okay, so you would just click inside here and you would type in whatever your phone recorded at. And I would go ahead and bump this up from 50% to 100%. That's great. If you don't have a lot of time, you can go ahead and do 50%, and that will do, of course, half of whatever these two numbers are. Okay, so my start frame and end frame are correct. My frames per second, my frame rate is correct. My frame resolution or frame size is correct. Okay, now we need to do the last bit of technical settings, and that is to save the video out as a bunch of frames. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come to the output section, and I'm going to put a folder on my desktop that I can save to. So I'm going to come out to my desktop, right mouse click, new folder, and I'll go ahead and just call this frames. Oops, looks like I already have a folder called frames. There we go. That was from an earlier project. Okay, so here we go, frames. Okay, so there's my frames folder. Now I have a place to export to. So I'm going to come down here to where it says output, and I'm going to click on this little folder on the right hand side. I'll click over here on the left hand side where it says desktop, then I'll click inside the frames folder. Now it needs a name for the frames, and I'm just going to go ahead and call them frame. That's fine. And I'll press return twice. And what it's going to do is it's going to save out every frame of the movie as frame 01, frame 02, 03, 04. If you have hundreds of frames, it will do three numbers, of course. Okay, so right here where it says PNG, this is where you get to choose your format here. And I would choose either JPEG or I would stick with PNG. PNG will look better. It won't have as much or any compression. It'll have some, but not much at all. You can see down here, 15%. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now you're going to come back up here and you'll see three buttons. You want to click on the middle one, which is animation. And you'll see that it will go through and it will show you a progress, and it is done. You can then get out of this window here. You can press the escape key, and now you get back to this screen here where you can play back and forth. And what you should do now is go to your desktop, look inside your frame folder, and you can see here that it exported all of my frames. It looks like it gave me 4 digits here, 0019, and so there we go. But there they all are. So that's it for this part, and I will see you in the next part, part 3. Thank you.